video tour. We're going to Fremont. And oh boy, do I expect there to be ruination down here. There's people out. I guess it's okay to be out. Just stay away from other people, right? Let's see. Nearly empty buses. 1, 2 brave souls on Seattle Metro. Oh, man. I sort of have said I don't know much more to say. No one knows what's going on. Maybe this all worked and we stopped the pandemic from being worse than it could have been. I mean, I get it. I see it. But, like, at the same time, man. Oh, man. Well, things aren't boarded up from the look of it. Oh, goodness gracious. Doesn't look boarded up, but definitely desolate. And I mean that again, clearly there's nothing happening, and it's like, what, 11:20 at night on a Friday. Again, normally this neighborhood would just be absolutely packed. Does get a little rougher at night, not gonna lie. And I appreciate that I'm still working, and like, so my days are like fairly busy. So during the day, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Go to work, stuff happening, people to talk to. I understand a lot of yous are stuck at home. Where do I want to go? I want to go over here by the rocket. Private security over there. It's not SPD. Let's see. Now, there wouldn't necessarily be people right here. But, like up here, by Lennon, people. There should be lots of people. Let's get out and walk a little bit. What do you say? What do we got? A food truck? And yes, it is a giant statue of Lenin. People paint blood on his hands, as you can see. But people also knit hats and things for him. It's an impressive statue. I really like it. It's really something. Just again, it's this surreal feeling. Doesn't feel real. This is really happening. My goodness. Imagine, see, listening to some podcasts, people were talking about, you know, how we manage this thing, how we cope with it as a, well, I guess as a species, really. I mean, there's the obvious, like, we need to find a cure for the bug, but also, like, how do we recover? How do we recover as a people, as a city, as a society, as a culture? How badly has this great repression, great suppression, how much damage has it done to our culture? Got a lot of action down here?
Every once in a while.
It seems like only the weirdest, craziest people are left out, right? Yeah. Well, stay safe. Yeah, private security. But they're
Everybody's
armed.
begging people. We got this.
They're
begging
armed
people,
private
please
security.
Stay in. India. You're out. These guys just chase you, start bludgeoning you with fucking.
So yeah,
It's fantastic.
that's Fremont.
You got any of that footage? Yeah, I
Like,
it's readily available online.
I should come down here during the day one day. I should come this way on my way to work when we do the drive to work, because
Go to your homes. Yeah.
you don't drive through Fremont to get to downtown. You can, but you're in a parking lot that it can take you out like an hour just to get through Fremont. Never mind the rest of your commute. So you just don't do it. It's just wall-to-wall cars, and you creep through these lights, and it's just the worst. But yeah, how are we gonna recover? What are we gonna do? Like, who goes first? It's kind of is it a prisoner's dilemma? Like, you can't just open your business, say a restaurant, and stock all your inventory, bring your employees in, and act and ramp up for business as usual, unless the clientele is there, right? People have to be willing to come sit in your dining room And because, well, it's hard to say, because maybe curbside pickup, they're still able to meet the volume of sales that they need. I guess we'll find out when when these places reopen. I don't know how you just reboot this thing. Like, you just open your restaurant and people will come, and you just hope that they didn't forget about you, or people are brave enough. This is why I'm trying to promote this liquidators thing. Like, it makes you feel better to know you have the ability to sanitize any surface, like in your pocket or like in a pouch. Now, that doesn't negate the transmission through the air, of course, but if you don't have, see, the asymptomatic carriers thing, it's like we gotta test everybody in the world, I guess. I mean, you can't get into America if you don't get tested for it. But we have to then prioritize everyone who's already here to test everyone who's already here. Then you have to do this repeatedly. Like, is this thing gonna come back next fall and we're gonna have to test everyone again? Like, I don't think there's the logistics of administering a test on, like, literally everyone is even plausible. I don't even think that's feasible. We can't even get a little paper mask for everybody. Never mind cellular pathology on a blood sample or something. Like, I don't know. When will you feel comfortable going to, like, a concert again? Or, like, the movie theater? Right? Like, when will you feel comfortable being in a large group of people? And are the people who are really highly uncomfortable with it, who are not going to rejoin these activities, at least not anytime soon, what portion of the population are they? Like, are a whole bunch of us irrationally disconnecting from culture and society due to fear of the bug? And what portion are just kind of like degaff, like they don't really care, and they just want to get back to normal as soon as possible, and they're just gonna, like, roll with it? And which group will influence the other, depending on what size they are and how. Again, I guess it goes back to the high score. If this thing takes a top spot, not just in the last couple decades, but in, all time, which I kind of don't see it doing, then we'll know how dangerous it is and how much we need to change our culture. Because, man, this is like the ALS challenge. This is like a bucket of ice water over our culture. Like, Americans are obnoxious and loud, but we're, like, friendly, but we're, like, we do things. We always are doing things, constantly doing things. It's like, if we're not doing something, we're looking up something else to do. It's just kind of like nonstop. And this is the antithesis of, like, granted, a lot of people were already staying home a lot and watching a lot of Netflix before this happened, but, like, the choice was always there to go out and socialize and, like, meet strangers. Now, stranger is potentially a killer. El Chupacabra. They're doing pickup. And, of course, I showed you some pictures from Greenwood the other day. It's, Greenwood. Not a super party central, a little bit older demo out here, but still some popular bars and places that stay open late and are hopping, or were. Well, oh yeah, Yanni's Greek Cuisine was actually on an episode of Kitchen Nightmares. Just randomly popped up when I was in the next video auto-played on YouTube. I was like, oh, hey, I know that place. And it was like, oh no, Kitchen Nightmares. But it's still there. It's still open. I mean, I guess they remodeled it. Maybe they fixed it. Maybe Kitchen Nightmares works. Anyways. Yeah. Well, that's Fremont to Greenwood. Kinda sad, but kinda good. If we follow the stay-at-home order, then it doesn't give them as much of an excuse to call in the National Guard. And I could see them calling in the National Guard just to do like a training and stuff. Just use that federal money and whatever that they get for doing it, and, you know, use it for training, use them to do some infrastructure stuff maybe, I don't know. Who would you know, bring them in and try to make it as friendly as possible, even though it will really freak people out regardless. But it also, it's another threshold of normalizing us to something like a police state. And we're already flirting with it right now. The paddleboarder getting arrested for being out on the ocean. Like, that don't make no sense. The social distancing guidelines are being used for some dumb stuff that doesn't make sense. Like, they shut down parks. Now, I understand people can go to parks and be in too close a proximity to each other, but, like, not me. I get it. I went to the park the other day. There was enough people that you could stay away from them. It doesn't mean we need to close the park. I just don't, I can't quite make sense of what the lawmakers and the policy enforcers are thinking. Oh man, Naked City. Oh boy. What the policy makers and the lawmakers are trying to do. It's like they fundamentally don't even understand what social distancing actually is and how the germ theory of disease behaves. And we maybe don't even really understand how the bug behaves, right? I hear wildly different things from different people about like how long the virus hangs in the air. And I see like the CDC will say it's like 3 minutes or something. I don't know how we know that. But then other people have said that it stays in the air for hours. So there's a lot of info and disinfo going around. But we got to crack this if we're going to get back to anything like what we've lived as normal up until now. And I've seen a drastic change in everybody's behavior. And so that's basically good. If we're doing the right thing. We have all en masse conformed by my videography and my observation. Everyone has conformed like a motherfucker to the social distancing guidelines, okay? So maybe these curves bend down. Maybe we've encountered a new bug that is a problem for us, but we're gonna beat it. Remember, we are smarter than the bug. Alright, I rambled enough, I think. Mostly to make myself feel better, I think. Yeah, a little bit to tell you what's going on. Anyways, I go out so you don't have to. Good night.